Do you have Hashimoto or autoimmune disease, hypothyroid? Here goes the story that I've been wanting to tell and share with all of you because I feel it might help you if you've been suffering with hypothyroid or maybe you know someone. So here it goes. I was officially diagnosed in 2016. However, I had the classic hypothyroid symptoms way before then, and I had no idea what was going on. So I was suffering for way before I got officially diagnosed. The symptoms were my major symptoms were fatigue, but the type of fatigue that if I was driving, let's say from work to home, I would have to pull over because I didn't have enough energy to so that I can get to my destination. And no matter what I did or I took, it just would not work. Especially coffee or caffeine. Actually, with the thyroid coffee, it was working the opposite. It was like opium. It was putting me to sleep. So nothing was working. So that was the major symptom. The other, well, they're all major, but the other classic was digestion. Always bloating. My family used to like joke about this. I look pregnant all the time, and I mean it wasn't funny. Especially it caused chronic digestion. Bloating caused weight gain. So it didn't matter if I ate. It didn't matter if I ate or I didn't or what I ate. Just by breathing air, I was gaining weight. Okay, so looking at food caused weight gain, and it was horrible, because it was a ripple effect, especially before I got sick. I was always skinny in shape and much into my looks and fashionista, all this stuff. So all of a sudden, I became very conscious, and that was a ripple effect because it affected my self-esteem, image, confidence, and all that good stuff, right? So, yeah, so bloating, digestion, fatigue. The other symptom was my eyebrow, this eyebrow, left eyebrow, right here in the corner. It was missing. It fell. It thinned out. And I didn't know what was going on. What else? Oh, sugar addiction. Major, galore, sugar addiction. I was eating a lot of sugar. Let's see what else. I'm sure there's more. Oh, sensitivity to cold. Super sensitive to cold. That was, and also hot and cold, almost like the inner thermostat was broken. It's like constant change. I'm hot, I'm cold, I'm hot, I'm cold. It's just like that. But I could not handle cold at all, like very sensitive. So yeah, I'm sure there were more, but those were the major ones. Anyways, I lived with those symptoms for a long time, not knowing what was going on. And then I had an appointment it was just a regular doctor's appointment. It was actually my annual gynecologist. And I had brought the symptoms up to my doctor. I said, something is not right. I did look it up before. I'm like, I'm suspecting this. And he's like, no, you're good. It's all good. I'm like, all right. Well, sure enough, he decided to do blood work. And when the results came in, he's like, oh, you have Hashimoto. I'm like, oh, yeah. Okay. Surprise. So which means autoimmune disease. My immune system attacked my thyroid, and it was hypo, which is slow, the slow type, slow metabolism, super slow. So he recommended for me to find endocrinologist, and because I had connections at the time, this was 2016, by it was a very wealthy family that recommended their endocrinologist. I was recommended to one of the top endocrinologists in the Philadelphia area. He was so in demand. we're talking about like billionaires going to this guy, that even if you had an appointment, you still had to wait for him for 2 hours. But I got in, okay? So when I got to my appointment, I was shocked because, hear me out, this is not coming from a place of judgment. This is coming from someone I believe I need to lead by example. So if I am offering you advice and help how to overcome Hashimoto naturally, it's because I already did it. Because I already did the research, went through it, studied everything that's behind it, tested it out, gathered information, gathered data, and I saw results. Okay? So when I saw this doctor, he was obese, very obese. And I'm like, okay, so endocrinologists, they are also in charge of diabetes. So my first thought is like, you must have diabetes yourself. How could you be a diabetic thyroid doctor? Not just any doctor, right? Like a top. And you're not taking care of your health. And it has nothing to do with looks. It has everything to do with health, because someone who's that obese is not healthy. There's health issues there. All right, let's face it. So he was talking using, vocab, certain vocab to, make him sound super intelligent. I'm like, all right. So I told him that I was into holistic, and I always choose to go the holistic route first. I'm not against medicine. Medicine is needed sometimes, but a lot of doctors and people abuse it, especially in the US. So I told him I will choose holistic. And he said, well, you're gonna need medicine for this. You're gonna need to go on medicine because you have an autoimmune disease, and it's going to replace your thyroid function, and you're gonna need it for the rest of your life. And I just refused it. I said, no, there's gotta be a way. So he said, okay, I'm gonna give you 2 months. You're gonna come back, and we're gonna do blood work, and you're gonna come back, and you're gonna have to go on medicine. So I challenged him. Surprise. I challenged him, and I said to him, I will give you 2 months. Watch it. So I did. I took on the challenge. I went home. I started researching. I started looking, reading, researching, go really, really deep, because that's what I do. Everything to do with every book out there, everything to do with autoimmune disease and Hashimoto. And the first thing that I found was how bad. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, I was also diagnosed with pre-diabetic. So I was borderline to be diabetic too, with the thyroid. Hold on 1 second. I gotta move because there are people behind me. There's a lot of noise and I can't focus. So yeah, so I was pre-diabetic. So when I was doing the research, I found out that the first thing that needed to go was sugar. Okay, because sugar was really bad for the thyroid. I had to move. It was getting too loud. So where was I? Yes, pre-diabetic. So when I was doing the research, the first thing that I had to cut out was sugar. And like I said before, I was eating a lot of sugar. So I was addicted to sugar. And if you look at the research, which I was shocked when I did this research, that sugar is more addicting than cocaine. Yeah. And I actually experienced this. I got to witness not only on myself when I cut the sugar and went through withdrawal, but I had a client with an eating disorder, and when she went back to her scenes, she got to relive the times she was eating so much sugar, and she was putting it together. We were both putting it together how addicting sugar is, and because it's legal and it's everywhere. That's why I need to start reading the labels. It's really, really addicting. Okay, it's really addicting. So first thing that needed to go was sugar, sugar. I'm not talking about fruits, natural sugar. Okay. Um, Second thing was gluten. I had to go gluten free, and I cut soy, gluten, sugar. I cut the grains. Cut a lot of things. I started looking into exercising specifically, like throughout the day. So I started incorporate that, and yeah, so all these changes. The first week was really hard, really hard. Like I felt physical symptoms. I felt the detox, like when I went to sugar free, like on my arms, tingling, like stuff leaving my body. It was horrible. It was really hard. I was going through withdrawal. I was crying a lot. I was very emotional. I was going crazy, and it was hard. I imagine it's similar to what people go through when they go to rehab for alcohol or drugs, something like that. I don't know, but it wasn't easy. After 1 week, I started feeling better. I I started seeing the energy coming back. It was slow, but there was progress. And before you know it, I started releasing weight, starting feeling better, looking better, confidence is coming back, self-worth, self-esteem. What else? Yeah. So 2 months passed, and I went back to see that doctor. And surprise, surprise, when he saw my blood work, he looked at the paperwork. He's like, "Oh, your blood work is normal. You don't need the medicine." He didn't even ask what I did. Nothing. Oh, surprise. Nothing. He wasn't even curious. Nothing. You know what he said? He's like, "I'll see you in 2 months." You think I went back? Never. Ever. I'm never coming back here, dude. I got this. So never look back. Now, is it easy to do this journey holistic? No. No, because then after I got the nutrition part, and there's different parts. So for every disease, you gotta look at the environmental, and you gotta look at the emotions. There's always emotions suppressed. Anything with the throat area, thyroid disease, anything with this, you have to look at the emotions. And I guarantee you, there's emotions in regards to speech, to speaking up, to tell your truth, so anything even with the jaw. So I've had clients with jaw issues, okay, not just thyroid, even the jaw lock. And it's always the case with speech, not speaking up, or not telling the truth, not expressing yourself, self-expression, and let people walk over you. So that's what I did after I handled the nutrition part and the exercise. Then I did sessions, used hypnotherapy to look deeper and see the emotions behind what was going on. So I had to combine. So I got that down. I got to the root of what was going on. And of course, it was because there were a lot of times, and my scenes show that I wasn't speaking up for myself. I was more passive, and I was like a yes person, especially if you're empathic. I'm sure you can relate to this. And as a result, because I wasn't using my speech, all these emotions were getting stuck here. So that was part of the thyroid disease. Like I said, there's the environmental and then there's the emotion. But I guarantee you, anyone who's dealing with these issues, it's because it has to do with the speech. So if I have to, like, if you're dealing with this and I give you a session and we go to the root, back to the scene, we're gonna find speech, self-expression, either because you don't tell the truth or you don't express yourself. You just let people walk all over, say yes to things that you should be saying no. Also with boundaries, you don't have boundaries and you let people step all over you. Okay, I guarantee you, I've seen it too many times. There's too much evidence. So with, remember, like with diseases, cancer, environmental, emotional. So anyone who's dealing with, which I've had a case that I worked on, liver cancer, you can't make this up. Liver cancer, emotions behind liver disease is negativity, is about chronic complaining, constant complaining. It's going to affect your liver. Back issues, I've seen it so many times, and there's different, upper back, mid back, lower back. Example of a higher back. For example, if you in childhood were carrying the weight of your family, if you're someone who's always carrying everybody's weight, responsibilities, you're gonna have back issues. So your body will speak for yourself if you don't pay attention. So back to my story with Hashimoto. This was 2016. I've been maintaining it. I've never been to the doctor ever again. I do have to be responsible for, so because I choose holistic, I have to make sure that I take care of it the holistic way, which means nutritionally. No matter where I am or what's going on, I eat clean. I focus on mainly plant-based, but I do eat some fish. So I focus on protein, some veggies, and some fruits. So I've been sugar-free since 2016. I do eat, like I said, some fruits. I do eat dates, so that's how I get, and I do incorporate stevia. I exercise every day. I walk at least 10,000 steps a day. So yes, I do the pedometer. It holds me accountable. I do weight training, whether at a gym or at home exercises. So this is part of my routine. And I also meditate and pray. I'm in nature. I ground. So that takes care of my emotions to keep the stress level. Because let me tell you, if I'm in a situation where there's a lot of stress and it's constant, it will affect my thyroid. All right. And it is my responsibility to do something about it, to make sure to keep it at bay. So I hope this helps you, or if you know anybody, there is always a solution. There is always a way. I do want to keep making videos in regards to holistic tips, and there's just so much out there that people need help with. I had multiple requests this week with Alzheimer's and with insomnia and with cancer. So I will be making more videos in regards to, first of all, prevent these things, because yes, prevention is always better than cure. It's better to take steps to prevent these things, because cure is going to take more work and energy and time. So prevented is better than cure. But if you are in it right now, if you are dealing with cancer, if you are dealing with insomnia, if you are dealing with Alzheimer's, if you're dealing with all this stuff, then I will be providing tips for you. So I'll be making more videos on this, specifically on cancer. There's so much to cover. How to avoid it. What you have control to avoid it. Environmental. There's so much I want to share. What I have witnessed with clients that I worked with. There's a lot. The other thing is like insomnia. I gotta share this. I had this person recently, she called me, she goes, can you help with insomnia with hypnotherapy? And I laughed. I said, insomnia is the easiest. Nobody should suffer with insomnia because it's the easiest problem, situation that it can be solved with hypnotherapy. Why? Because your body, by nature, when you're born, you're designed to sleep. Okay, you are meant to sleep. Now, what happens is at some point, this is super common with insomnia cases. At some point, something happened. Multiple things happen at nighttime. So, let's say, for example, somebody who suffers with insomnia and they got robbed, okay, during the night. So, they went into shock. Their brain told them that it's not safe to sleep. You better stay awake because you never know. You might get robbed again. So they have this subconscious belief, and then that they can't sleep. It causes insomnia, but there's also other roots. So yeah, that's why hypnotherapy is so helpful, because we can go back to the root, to the original issue that you cannot sometimes, there are situations like this example that you can remember consciously. However, you can't remember things that happened when you were a baby in your mother's belly. You can't remember things that interpretations that happened when you were a toddler. With your conscious mind, you gotta access your subconscious, and that's where hypnotherapy comes in handy. It's a good tool to access your subconscious. Anyways, this video went long enough. If you have any questions regarding everything that I covered, Hashimoto, autoimmune, please leave a comment. Thank you.